So Sue and Matthias have been in the house about 3 months now. They've had a few things that they've found we needed to fine-tune. Specifically, the solar panel is actually generating far too much power for the amount of batteries we've got, which that's a good thing. So we've had that recalibrated. We've still got a bit of an issue with the solar hot water, but we're sorting that out. For the amount of sunshine, they should be generating more hot water. But other than that, I think the house is functioning exceedingly well. The house is maintaining a really constant warm temperature. It's not overheating. It's not cooling down too quickly. The weather over the summer's been particularly intermittent, so we haven't had a clear picture of a hot Martinborough summer. But overall, the house is now feeling like a home. They've got their own personal possessions all unpacked. From a design perspective, I'm incredibly happy with the outcome of the house. It has been a really long journey, and like all builds, there's ups and downs. Specifically, we've had some tradesmen that have been particularly helpful in helping us fine-tune and find new technologies to make the house even better. Disappointingly, there's been some tradesmen that haven't really raised to the challenge of being involved in a house of this nature without putting in extra effort. They've continued to think that they're building a normal house and believe that normal practices are okay. So we've had to work our way through that, and it has caused a little bit of delay and a little bit of frustration. The thing to keep in mind about building a house of this nature is that the technology is changing so quickly. So what you may have decided in 1 month could actually be obsolete or not as efficient as another system several months later. Budget has a lot to do with it. You can't have the best of everything because you are working to a budget. We had cost overruns on this particular job, largely to do with timing and the labour involved to do that. Sue and Matthias have been gracious enough to contribute some more money towards the house, which, like any build, is a touchy subject when you were going through that process. Probably all up, there was probably a $50,000 difference between what their budget was and what the ultimate build cost. In hindsight, should we have built the wine cellar? Absolutely.
We feel it's really our own space, and we can unpack everything. We have space for all things. There's a lot that hasn't been finished. I mean, we keep our pictures at the moment on the floor because we don't know whether we really hang them up or whether all those black and white pictures we have and paintings from Switzerland, whether they really fit.
I think it's probably a good thing that we moved in this summer, because otherwise it might have been a bit more of a steeper learning curve trying to live within our electricity production. At the moment, it's good. In fact, we produce too much.
I think it was always a kind of a gamble, because everything we built or aspired to do, we never saw anything concrete. It was always either plan or it was a digital image or something like that. When I look at the fly-through and what we live in here, it's very close and very similar to what we saw, and that's very pleasing, I think, because we had ideas and we followed those through. On the other hand, we also had a budget and didn't want to go over budget, so decisions that have been made in the beginning were decisions we had to keep with, because those were the basis for the calculations of the whole house.
On the whole, I like the design of the house. I just love moving around in it and the space and you know, sitting here in the evening, just talking. Matthias in the kitchen. It's just got a nice feel. The concrete feels hard, but the wood softens it so much and makes it very, very warm. The bedroom is sunny and retains the heat and the sunshine in the afternoons and into the evenings. So by the time we go to bed at night, it's still warm. The concrete is heating up during the day and letting off that heat in the evening. You walk around it, you can feel the heat. The lesson that we have learned, is to get like-minded people onto your side. We have a wonderful architect in Darren Hunter, and he really made a huge effort to understand where we were coming from, what we wanted out of our house, and what was important to us, and making it function, and going away and researching for hours about all the different ways you can make a solar panel work. That is so important, but it also means that you have to get other tradespersons on side. They've also got to have that enthusiasm to bring to the job something different, which you don't necessarily get with somebody who might just say, I never do this any other way, but this is the way that you always do things. You've got to find people who are open to experiment and follow down a new path and look up and be interested in their area of expertise.
Whether you like the house or not, you have to admire the commitment Sue and Matthias have made to produce a house that generates all its own energy and disposes of all of its own waste. I've thoroughly enjoyed being involved for the last year and a half to see that come to fruition.
I like seeing out of the kitchen. I mean, normally the kitchen is built the other way around, that if you're on the stove, you look against a wall. What I love here is that I stand at the stove and cook, and I actually see. I can have a conversation with Sue or guests that are here. I think that's more important. That's the most important thing of having friends over for a meal, is that you can share, that you can still finish your meal and actually have a glass of wine at the same time.